OCO, what's good? What's good? Yeah, it's the Red Bird coming back with another video. You know what I'm saying? And this is part 4 of the Familiar Birds of North America East. And this book is made by the National Audubon Society. And thank you to all my subscribers for your support. Everybody that's been waiting on these videos, thank you so much for, you know what I'm saying, being patient with me. I've been trying to get these videos out, you know what I'm saying, getting them done. But just, you know what I'm saying, just bear with me. You know, I'm going to get them done periodically, you know what I'm saying. I just thank y'all so much, you know what I'm saying, for who's been just rocking with me, you know what I'm saying, just watching these videos, supporting, liking, subscribing, commenting, you know what I'm saying. Thank y'all so much. And shout out to the originals, man, you know what I'm saying, OCO, you know what I'm saying, the first Americans, you know, big ups, you know, so-called Negroes, you know, and much love to all my subscribers, you know what I'm saying. Thank you so much. And once again, this is Red Bird, you know, coming back with part 4 of the Familiar Birds of North America. Okay, now last time I left off on the bird that's called the ring-necked pheasant, and I left off on the identification of that bird, and the identification of the ring-necked pheasant. The male is 30 to 36 inches long. The female is 20 to 26 inches long. Chicken-like with long, pointed tail. Male has bright green or blue-green head, red face, white neck, ring, body, and wings. Bronze, gold, and red with bold, dark spottings. The female is soft brown, spotted, and barred with black. Voice a loud, crowing, cut, or quack, accompanied by loud wing beats. Males cackle when taking off. The habitat, grassy and brushy areas near woodlands, farms, pastures, also in cattail marshes in winter. Range throughout much of the United States and South Canada, and suitable agricultural regions absent from high mountains, deserts, and most of the southeast. Okay, this next bird is the northern bobwhite. The cheerful whistle bobwhite call of this quail is a familiar sound of summertime. It is the male that gives this call. Once he has successfully attracted a female, he stops calling and devotes his energy to family life, sometimes even helping to incubate the eggs. After the breeding season, families form conveys of 8 to 25 birds, which remain together in the cover of low bushes and often huddle together for warmth on cool evenings. The identification of the northern bobwhite is 8 to 11 inches long, small, plump, chestnut or reddish brown above, white below with black mottling, sides streaked with chestnut, throat and eyes striped white in male, buffy in female, both with dark eyeline and crown. The voice, male gives a clear, rising bobwhite or poor bobwhite. Both sexes give a repeated whistle, ka, wo-li. Habitat, open areas with brush, farmlands, pastures, and forest edges. Range, Nebraska and Ohio. Nebraska and Iowa, south to Texas, and east to New England and Florida. Introduced in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Okay, the next bird is the mourning dove. The soft, melancholy call of this bird, which gave rise to its common name, is most often heard at first light in spring and summer. The mourning dove is one of our most common and widespread birds. It is often seen in large flocks. It is hunted extensively in some areas but protected in others. The identification of the mourning dove is 11 to 13 inches long, slim with small head and long tapered tail, soft sandy brown or brownish gray above with a few black spots, paler below, sometimes washed with pale cinnamon, tail feathers tipped with white. The voice is a low, sad woo, woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Second note rises sharply. Habitat almost anywhere except dense forests, woodlands, streamsides, desert washes, gardens, city parks, and suburban backyards. Range breeds from South Alaska and West British Columbia through South Alberta to Great Lakes region to New England. South to Mexico and Florida, northern populations migratory. Okay, his next bird is the rock dove, which is the pigeon. And everyone recognizes the rock dove, commonly called the pigeon. Introduced from Europe, this bird was originally a denizen of the rocky sea cliffs high above the Atlantic and Mediterranean. In the wild, these birds eat grass seeds, which they obtain by taking a head of grass in the bill and shaking it sharply to break some seeds loose. In cities where they subsist almost entirely on bread crust, bits of discarded pizza, and other baked goods, this instinctive feeding technique persists. Identification of the rock dove, aka the pigeon, is 12 to 13 inches long, stocky with short fan-shaped tail. Birds in the wild and many in cities, bluish-gray with two narrow black wing bars, white rump, and some iridescence on sides of neck. Color variations include all black, all white, piebald, and reddish-brown birds. The voice is soft, rolling, coo-crew or coo-to-crew. Habitat: cities, parks, gardens, suburbs, and farm areas, rocky canyons or sea cliffs. Range throughout South Canada and United States. Does not migrate. Well, yeah, I just saw about 3 or 4 pigeons last week. I think it was last Friday. Yeah, I saw some pigeons when I was headed to this dollar store in my city in downtown. I had seen pigeons in a while because most of the times I see seagulls nowadays and ducks and geese. Okay, this next bird is the European starling. Like the rock dove, the starling is native to Europe. In 1890, a flock of 100 of these birds was released in New York City's Central Park. Since that time, this aggressive species has expanded its range to include most of the continent. Starlings are unpopular in many areas because they damage fruit crops and compete with native species for nesting cavities, but they have proven efficient in helping to reduce the population of insect pests such as locusts. The identification of the European starling is 7.5 to 8.5 inches, short-tailed, chunky, and spring black with greenish gloss, bill yellow, winter plumage heavily flecked with white, bill dark, immatures, dusky gray-brown above, paler below. Voice: a wide variety of shrieks, chattering notes, whistles, and clicks, often gives a wolf whistle and mimics other birds. Habitat: city, parks, orchards, woodlands, and farmland. Range throughout the United States and South Canada. Okay, this next bird is the common grackle. Abundant in residential areas, the common grackle is handsome, but it has earned a reputation as a distributor of the peace. Grackles are especially noisy in winter when they gather in huge roosts with equally vibration. Excuse me, y'all. This is a word I've never seen. This word is Vociferous. Blackbirds and European starlings. There are 2 color forms of the common grackle, bronze and purple. The latter only occurs only in the southeast and along the Atlantic coast. The identification of the common grackle is 11 to 13.5 inches long. Adult appears all black from a distance. Glossy purple or bronze tones visible at closer range. Head has bluish sheen. tail long, wedge shape, appearing keeled in flight, eyes yellow, juvenile bird, dark brownish with dark eyes. Voice a loud clucking, also a high ascending screech. Habitat open woodlands, parks, gardens, and lawns. Range breeds east of Rockies from northeast Alberta to Nova Scotia and south to Texas and Florida, winters in southern 2/3 of range. Okay, this next bird is the brown-headed cowbird. Cowbirds are brood parasites. They do not raise their own young, but lay their eggs in the nest of another species after having removed one egg from the host's clutch. When it hatches and begins to grow, the young cowbird is usually so much larger than the young of its foster parents that the other nestlings either starve or are crowded out. Despite their limited family life, for these birds form only brief pair bonds. The male performs an elaborate courtship display, embellishing in the show with loud whistles and bubbling notes. The identification of the brown-headed cowbird is 6 to 8 inches long, male greenish black with deep brown head, female gray-brown, juvenile gray-brown with faint streaks on breast and scaly-looking upper parts, bill black and finch-like in all plumages. Voice squeaky, bubbly, high-pitched, female chatters. The habitat woodlands, farmlands, fields, and suburbs. Range breeds throughout most of the United States and South Canada, extending into North Alberta, winters in South United States. Yeah, this bird kind of different from other birds as far as the character, how it goes about doing things. This next bird is a bird a lot of us are familiar with is the American crow. Okay, crows are wary birds and opportunistic in the face of changes, with the result that the species is far more abundant today than it was before the arrival of European settlers to this country. For all its intelligence, the American crow is widely regarded as a nuisance. This judgment is perhaps unfair because crows are useful in keeping down the populations of insects that damage crops. Crows sometimes gather and roost of several 100,000 birds. The identification of the American crow is 17 to 21 inches long, large and stocky, black all over with slight purplish sheen, bill stout, tail square or fan shaped. Yeah, the purple sheen on the crow, I'm just noticing that recently because usually when I see a crow, I would just look at them as just being all black. But I didn't realize they had a purplish sheen until the other day. But also, with me reading this book, I realized that because the other day when I saw a bunch of crows in the downtown area of where I live in Norfolk, Virginia, I noticed when I saw one of the crows sitting there and kind of moved in the sun was beaming on him or her, a particular crow, and I literally saw the purple sheen shining off it, and I was like, oh man, I didn't know they had like another color within their fur and stuff, their feathers and everything. Yeah, so that was interesting to see, That's something I didn't know for a long time, so that's really interesting. Voice a raucous, familiar caw, caw, caw. Habitat, open areas, woodlands, fields, suburbs, orchards, gardens, city parks. Tends to avoid deserts and dense forests. Range, breeds throughout southern 2/3 of Canada and most of the United States. Winters south of Canadian border, absent from much of interior southwest. Okay, this next bird is the red-winged blackbird. This pretty blackbird with red epaulets is common and well known. It usually nests in wetlands and along the east coast It can be easily seen throughout the window of any train traveling between northern Connecticut and Philadelphia. Yeah, shout out to Philly. In the marshy areas that border much of the rail bed, red wings congregate with other blackbirds after the breeding season, often forming flocks of many thousand birds and roaming over open country. The identification of the red-winged blackbird is 7.5 to 9.5 inches, male black with bright red shoulder patches. Female and juveniles have heavy, dusky brown streaks. Voice, song a liquid musical "Oh Kali." Also various chuck and kink notes. Habitat usually nest in marshes and other wetlands, especially areas with cattails, also in moist thickets, pastures, and meadows. Range breeds from South Alaska to North Alberta and Ontario to maritime provinces, south through entire United States, winters in most of the southern two-thirds of the United States, and the temperature northwest. Okay, this next bird is a bird I know y'all are actually very familiar with. And this is my favorite bird in the whole world. The same bird I get my name from, you know what I'm saying, the northern cardinal. The northern cardinal is a bird of many, at least 7 states, and one being, you know, my hometown, my home state, hometown, you know, my stomping grounds, VA, Virginia. You know, this is our state bird, and you know, like I said, it's my favorite bird of all birds. So I'm about to get into this. Okay, the cardinal is a favorite visitor to backyards and city parks, beloved for both its cheerful song and its brilliant red plumage. This species is a seed eater. Its sharp-edged, conical bill is perfectly suited to cracking open nuts to get at the kernel within. Cardinals may raise as many as 4 broods of young each year. They often nest in suburban areas where their song is heard all year. The identification of the northern cardinal, 7.5 to 9 inches long, male, brilliant red with back sweep, crest and black face, bill red. Female grayish olive above, paler below with varying amounts of red on crest, wings, and tail. Bill pink, crest and black area around bill smaller than in male. Immature gray washed with buff below with dark bill. The voice, a song is a whistle, wachu, wachu, with also birdie, 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 many variations. Yeah, I love the sound of the cardinal. You know, the calling, bird call is real beautiful. And the habitat, woodlands, gardens, thickets, and areas with brushy undergrowth. Range the Dakotas to Nova Scotia, south to Texas and Gulf Coast, also in Arizona and South Carolina, non-migratory. Yeah, that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Northern cardinal. That's my bird, you know. Yeah, I'm going to leave it right here. This is part 4. So I'm going to just end it right here with the northern cardinal. Yeah, I just check for other videos. I'm coming with more videos, you know, reading from this book. I'm bringing some more parts until I'm completely finished with the book. So just be on the lookout for that. If I don't have another part out today, it might be another one today, or if not today, at least tomorrow, and I'm going to just keep bringing them out. But any of my subscribers, definitely look out later on today for a video about the northern cardinal, which is, you know, not reading out of this book, is something totally different. You know, I'm just bringing coming in with a new video about the northern cardinal. And I wanted to actually get this video out yesterday, but today is like the best day for it, I can tell. And just be on the lookout for that. You know, it'll be, I should be dropping that video sometime this evening or tonight. You know, the next video, you know, which will be about the northern cardinal. So check that out. And I appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate you listening. Yeah, much love to you. Have a wonderful Sunday. You know what I'm saying? You know, shout out to the originals, OCO. Shout out to Unity Love, Lil Cupcake. My brother, Mr. Smoothie. Yeah, it's Redbird. Much love. One.